Good day, everyone. So here's the continuation of the Food Safety Modernization Act Sec. 114 to 208. So let's start. Sec. 114 Requirement for Guidance Relating to Post-Harvest Processing of Raw Oysters. Certain individuals within the agency have targeted the consumption of raw molluscan shellfish for years, with the intent to ban sales. This provision reflects a compromise relating to post-harvest processing for raw oysters and controls that could be improved product safety. It applies to both domestic and foreign producers. Depuration and purification is likely the most appropriate control and it's not included in the text of the statute. Post-harvest processed raw oysters are safe to eat according to proponents of three commercially available processing system. Kaya naman sinasabi dito at sinasalamin ng probisyon na ito ang isang kompromiso na nauugnay sa pagpoproseso ng post-harvest para sa mga hilaw na oyster o sa Tagalog ay talaba, at kontrol na maaaring mapabuti ang kaligtasan ng mga produkto. So here's the sample picture for that. Roasted oysters. Sinasabi dito sa isang company na kinunan ko na picture na roastering is better than freezing. Our patented process delivers a natural, flavorful product. So, post-harvest processing maintains freshness and quality while killing the spoilage bacteria and reducing microorganisms, including vibrio-bacteria, to non-detective levels. The absence of spoilage bacteria increases the shelf life of product. Extended shelf life for raw oysters is a major selling point of these three methods. It is a perfect combination of quality, safety, and convenience of pre-shocked oysters. So next is Sec. 115 or port shopping. So, port shopping is when an importer attempts to select a port that will provide less scrutiny to incoming shipments. Prior notice provision will make port shopping more difficult, and with this provision will provide notice to other ports that a certain shipment has been denied entry so that it will not be admitted at another location. So, sinasabi naman dito na ang port shopping ay kasanayan ng mga exporter at importers na pumili ng isang particular na port that basis of their assessment of the customs rather than on the quality of physical facilities. So, next is Sec. 201, the targeting of inspection resources for domestic facilities, foreign facilities, and the ports of entry. Annual Report. The emphasis of inspection will be upon high-risk facilities and the product based upon the following factors. First is known safety risks of the food. So there are four primary categories of food safety risks to consider, which is biological, chemical, physical, and allergenic. So understanding the risks associated with each can dramatically reduce the potential of foodborne illness. Each have their own unique characteristic but all can be avoided through a robust food safety management system. So next is compliance history of a facility including recalls, foodborne illness, outbreaks, and food safety violation. Rigorous and effective of the facility hazard analysis and preventive control plan. And lastly, for imports, these additional criteria apply: known risk with the imported food, known food safety risks of the country or regions. Next is Sec. 202, the laboratory accreditation for analysis of foods. By 2015, any laboratory testing that is to be conducted with regard to a food safety investigation will have to be conducted in a accredited laboratory, approved by an accrediting body. This is expensive, tedious process applicable not just to the laboratory but for any sampling program and analytical testing protocol conducted within it, will substantially increase the cost of laboratory testing and may place it out of reach of many small businesses. So, dito naman sa Sec. 202, sinasabi na laboratory testing is an important process which is relies on scientific analysis to identify problems with the food product. At nagbibigay ito ng data upang mas mapag-aralan ang mga quality ng isang produkto o proseso ng produksyon upang suportahan ang kontrol ng quality sa sistema ng HACCP o Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points. So, next is Sec. 204, the enhancing tracking and tracking of food and record keeping. The requirement for one step forward, one step back traceability remains a technical challenge. In response to this requirement, the FDA will be spearheading a pilot project in a coordination with the food industry to explore and evaluate methods to rapidly and effectively identify recipients of food to prevent or mitigate a foodborne illness outbreak and to address credible threats of serious adverse health consequences of death to humans or animals as a result of such a food being adulterated or misbranded with the study of the processed food sector, raw fruits and vegetables, food that have been the subject of significant outbreaks in the past 5 years and a diversity of other food, including imports. So, enhancing tracking and tracking of food and record keeping. Instruct the FDA to develop additional record keeping requirements for certain foods to help establish clear tracing of a food product source when needed to address food safety risks. Ang pinahiwatig ng panuntunang ito ay kapag finalized na ay isusunod ang ipapatupad ang key component of the landmark food safety law. Next is Sec. 206, the Mandatory Recall Authority. The FDA has mandatory recall authority, although many question whether this provision is necessary for domestic food producers and consider the checks upon agency action through involvement of the individual states or the Justice Department to have been perfectly adequate to ensure that U.S. food supply remains safe. So, sinasabi dito na mandatory recalls authority plays an important role in ensuring the potentially dangerous food products are removed from the marketplace. So, ang ahensyang ito ay mananatiling nakatuon sa pagtatrabaho sa mga kumpanya upang mapadali ang maayos at mabilis na kusang pagtanggal ng mga potensyal na mapanganib na produkto mula sa supply ng pagkain. Next is what you need to know about administrative detention of food. Sec. 207, Administrative Detention of Food. The FDA may order the detention of any article of food that is found during an inspection, examination, or investigation in a secured facility if it has reason to believe that the particle of food is adulterated or misbranded. This was written into the Act of ensure that rejected product from the countries did not enter into the U.S. Food that is regulated exclusively by the USDA under the Federal Meat Inspection Act, the Poultry Products Inspection Act, or the Egg Products Inspection Act is not subject to administrative detention. Sinasabi lang dito na ang administrative detention of food ay nagbibigay ng isang paraan kung saan ang FDA ay maaaring magtaglay ng adorno o maling paggamit ng pagkain at maiwasang maabot ang palengke, sa gayunman ay lalong pinahusay ang kakayahan ng FDA na matiyak ang kaligtasan ng pagkain para sa mga consumer. Sabi nga dito, this was written into the Act to ensure that rejected product from other countries did not enter into the US. So, hindi na mas pinapalampas pa na yung mga rejected na food is mapunta pa sa ibang lugar. So, last is Sec. 208, the Decontamination and Disposal Standards and Plans. The EPA, in coordination with Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, and Department of Agriculture shall provide support and technical assistance to state, local, and tribal governments to prepare for, assess, decontaminate, and recover from an agriculture or food emergency. So, it is the process of removing or neutralizing contaminants, which is ang isang decontamination plan should be developed bilang bahagi ng isang site safety plan. At kailangang i-set up muna ito bago makapasok ang kung sino mang tauhan o kagamitan sa lugar kung saan mayroong potensyal ng pagkakalantad sa mga mapanganib na substances. So, dito lang nagtatapos ang aking report. Thank you!